Hello, everyone. You have a garden and you're tired of mowing? You're looking for a cordless robot mower, but you're lost among all the available models? Don't panic, this video is made for you. I personally tested all the robots you see behind me. Models for flat gardens, for large surfaces, for small gardens, and four-wheel drive ones capable of tackling serious slopes. My goal, that by the end of this video, you know exactly which robot to choose for your garden without making a mistake. Before we start, all the links are in the description. You can also use the time code to go directly to the part that interests you. In the first part, we'll look at robots suited for flat gardens with less than 45% slope. In the second part, four-wheel drive robots for complex gardens up to 80% slope. If you have steep slopes or a lot of obstacles, skip directly to part 2. The first robots we're going to look at are the Mammotion robot mowers. We'll find the Yucca at the back, which will be suited for surfaces of 3,000 square meters maximum. All the robots you have here will no longer work with an RTK antenna. For most of them, it's LiDAR, 4G, or with a camera. So this robot is currently on a very strong promotion. It will be better suited for large, rather flat gardens. 2 cutting decks that will now have 5 blades per deck and a mowing width of about 32 centimeters. So what I like about this one is the finish, which is really ultra clean, I think. I don't recommend it if you have holes in your garden, because with its single small front wheel, it could struggle a bit. It will navigate using 4G, which will be free for 1 year. You can adjust the cutting height from 2 centimeters up to 9 centimeters manually, and the battery is accessible by lifting it right here. This one, I can only recommend it if you have a flat garden and a large surface, or a garden larger than 300 square meters. After that, it's not necessarily useful to have this robot, but rather choose the mini version, the new version from this year. This is the Yucca Mini 2 with LiDAR sensor. This one, on the other hand, no subscription needed. It will navigate in the garden with its small 360-degree LiDAR and also its front camera. So, the strong point of these mini robot mowers is that they have a battery that's easily unclippable at the back to be able to change it later. Furthermore, this one won't need an RTK antenna. I find it ultra precise with its LiDAR sensor plus camera. You can also adjust the cutting height from 2 centimeters up to 6 centimeters maximum, 45% slope. I would say that beyond 35 to 40%, personally, I would go for a four-wheel drive that we'll see just after, especially if there are bumps or holes. It's not really the right robot for that. On the other hand, for a flat garden or with a slight slope, honestly, I think it's interesting. Rain sensor, and this one will have 2 swivel wheels at the front, and of course 5 blades on the cutting deck, a width of 19 centimeters, rather grooved rear wheels, a small handle, and also a light so it can continue mowing even at night, and potentially better detect objects and obstacles with the camera. You can also adjust the blade rotation speed, more or less strong depending on whether you have a lot of grass, and adjust the forward speed for gardens of 1,000 square meters maximum. And now, we have the Yucca Mini 2 Vision. So this one is pretty much the same. Small light at the front. What's going to change actually is the camera module. It will navigate in the garden for the 500 version, meaning 500 square meters maximum, only with its camera module. Personally, last year I didn't find it ultra efficient, but now, since this year, they've made new updates, and now I can say that the robot is precise. In any case, at my place, it mowed very well. After that, it won't be suited for large gardens. We also have the Vision 800 version for surfaces of 800 square meters, which will position itself with its camera plus Net RTK, which is the robot's 4G, free for 3 years. The fact that it has Net RTK plus camera allows for better precision than with its camera alone. After that, if you have the budget, between these two models, I prefer the LiDAR version because there's no subscription. After that, this one, you're not obligated to have a subscription. You can also, after the 3 years, either switch to 4G or use Wi-Fi if your garden gets Wi-Fi everywhere. That'll be link number 3 in the description. So, another one that also really positively surprised me this year, it's the MOVA Lidax Ultra. We'll have different models depending on your surface, 800 square meters, 1,200 square meters, and 1,600 square meters maximum. I recommend it more for flat gardens with a low slope. A few small bumps. That can work, but I find it tends to spin a bit like all the two-wheel drive versions when there's too much slope. It's not necessarily the right robot. We'll see the same range just after, in four-wheel drive, which can be interesting if your garden is complex. This one is going to be interesting already because it will navigate with its LiDAR sensor and its camera. No subscription needed. Its design is also quite nice. We'll also find a small screen on it, and you can manage it, adjust the mowing directly on it, without having to go on your phone, for example. The cutting height will be adjustable from 3 centimeters up to 10 centimeters automatically. In terms of security, it's not bad. We also have a PIN code every time you lift the cover or lift the robot. You'll have to enter this PIN code. Rain sensor, handle also at the back to be able to lift it. And most robot mowers, I find, are quiet. Small camera to detect objects. This part at the front a bit more flexible to better absorb small eventual shocks. And these are grooved wheels with small studs. So they call these all-terrain wheels. And what's really interesting on this one is the small cutting deck that can shift slightly to the side and will leave 5 centimeters between the blade and the edge of the robot. So potentially, if you cut at maximum, it should leave about 7 centimeters of uncut grass, maybe even 10. After that, it will have 3 blades on its cutting deck. The fact that it has 3 blades doesn't cause too much of a problem, I think. You will, however, need to have it mow regularly. If you wait too long, if you wait a week, 10 days, maybe it'll struggle a bit more to cut, but after that, I don't think that's necessarily a disadvantage. We also have the battery that you can easily access normally under this small hatch to be able to change it later. Really cool, I think, this little robot. In any case, it did good work at my place. I don't necessarily recommend it if you have more than 35% slope. That'll be link number 4 in the description. So I put it behind, but we'll go fast. It's the MOVA 600. Actually, it's the old 2025 version. Sometimes there are great deals on it. If it's currently on promotion, well, don't hesitate. I think it's a good robot too, so I won't go into more detail. So this one is the Sunseeker S4. Same, it did surprise me quite a bit. I like it because it also has its LiDAR sensor, which will allow it to map the whole garden. Mowing surface, I'll display it on screen. Small camera to detect objects. You can adjust the cutting height manually from 20 millimeters to 60 millimeters, and it's ultra precise. It seems like it's almost to the millimeter. And what I like about this model is that it was still quite powerful and very quiet. Here, it has 6 blades on its cutting deck, a centered cutting deck. You can also access the battery, and the app is, I find, intuitive. We have this slightly more flexible part also to better absorb small shocks. In any case, I still found it quite interesting for a small garden. In any case, it did good work in my garden. So this version very quickly, because actually this is the old 2025 model. At CES in Las Vegas, I was able to see the new model from Navimow, which will have 3 drive wheels. This one, the old model, worked very well, but it had 2 swivel wheels, and the new model actually has 3 drive wheels, which will allow it to better adapt to slightly more difficult gardens, let's say. The cutting height will be adjustable from 2 centimeters up to 6 centimeters. I'll put the link in the description. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to test it. So, the last model. If you have a complex garden, well, this range will interest you. Or even if you have a flat garden, actually, because some robot mowers will be able to cover up to 5,000 square meters. So I find them overall ultra precise, all the robots. These two look very similar. On one side, we have the MOVA, on the other side, the Dreame. Actually, it's the same subsidiary. We'll quickly see the differences between the two. And we have the Mammotion range. Once again, we start with the LUBA 3. So this one, I gave you an experience report. It's currently been 4 months since I got it, and 3 months since it's been installed in the garden. Really interesting, this robot. Already, it will have 2 cutting discs for a total width of 40 centimeters. It will get rather close to the edges. It will leave, I'd say, about 10 centimeters if you hug the border a bit. Really incredible finish. 4-wheel drive for gardens with up to 80% slope maximum. Complex gardens also, with this system of small shock absorbers that allows the wheels to tilt a bit. So if you have holes and bumps, it can climb small steps of 5 centimeters maximum. Grooved wheels also, well, honestly, incredible finish. 3 months it's been running in the garden, I haven't really had any issues. Compared to the beginning, there have been quite a few updates that fix certain problems. For example, it wasn't going close enough, I found, around the forbidden zones. Now, it gets much closer. The lines are super straight. Honestly, I find it quite interesting. We also have nice protections on the edges to avoid scratching the robot too much. Wheel system, the small bumper at the front too, which is very sensitive. The robot will detect, either with its camera or with its bumper, or both, with LiDAR sensor positioning, camera, and also 4G for the 3,000 and 5,000 square meter version, because it can go up to 5,000 square meters, this robot. we have a version for smaller gardens, 1,500 square meters maximum, which will only work with LiDAR sensor and camera, and honestly, I find it also precise, having tested this one without the 4G. Actually, the 4G is in Navinet RTK. It allows the robot to better position itself over large surfaces. And here, it has a positioning called trifusion, meaning LiDAR, camera plus 4G for the 3000 and 5000 version. The 4G is free for 3 years on this model and will have the possibility of having a video feed with the camera, as on most models actually. So I didn't really talk about that earlier. A small light also to allow it to mow a bit later, while continuing to detect objects. Rain sensor. The battery, however, will be inside the robot, and that's a bit of a shame. You can adjust the cutting height automatically from 2.5 centimeters up to 7 centimeters, and above all, its big strong point is the forward speed, which can go up to 1 meter per second. In terms of warranty, the majority of robot mowers are guaranteed 3 years by the brand. I advise you to look into this and check it in more detail. That'll be link number 8 to find in the description. So, it also exists in a smaller version. So here, we have the LUBA Mini 2. This one will navigate with camera plus 4G offered for 3 years. And the advantage of this one is that already, it will be suited for surfaces of 1,000 square meters maximum. So, for a small garden, the budget will therefore be lower. And we have a central deck with 6 blades and a mini deck with 3 blades to be able to mow closer to the edges, cutting height adjustable automatically, small light at the front, triple camera so it can properly position itself and detect obstacles with the bumper at the front. So, it's almost the same robot as the one behind. We'll find the shock absorbers at the front so they can properly adapt to different gardens. 80% slope maximum, handles on the sides, grooved rear wheels. And what's good is that here on the mini version, you can unclip the battery to be able to change it easily. Note that, however, you won't be able to adjust the cutting height of the mini deck, and I would say it leaves about 7 centimeters if you really hug your border at maximum of uncut grass. After that, on the US version for now, we have the new version, the LUBA Mini 2 LiDAR. I'll update that in the description, and if you have the choice between this one and the new version with LiDAR sensor, personally, I prefer the LiDAR. We'll see after. You'd first need to test it, see if the new robot is efficient or not. That'll be link number 9. So, this one is really interesting, I think. It's the MOVA Lidax Ultra AWD, 4-wheel drive, mowing surface 1,200, I think, 1,600 and 2,000 square meters. A small bumper on this part. It will detect objects with its camera, positioning with LiDAR sensor plus camera, no RTK antenna, no subscription. Grooved rear wheels also so it can grip well on slopes. And we'll find a small screen to manage the cutting height, adjustable from 3 centimeters up to 10 centimeters automatically, either directly on the robot on the screen or directly on the app. We'll also have a PIN code when you unclip the cover. Well, after that, in general, all the robots there are linked to your account on the app, so if someone were to steal it, well, logically, they couldn't use it. After that, well, the robot is still quite simple, but simple and efficient with these small shock absorbers, and it will actually allow it to climb large obstacles of 6 centimeters maximum. Actually, the wheels literally tilt a bit, so when it climbs, for example, an obstacle, it's quite impressive. A battery that should be accessible underneath, there at the back, the LUBA 5000, for example, has a 15-amp battery. This one, I'll display it on screen. Really interesting also is the cutting deck, which is double for a cutting width of 40 centimeters, and above all, they'll have 6 blades per deck. Really cool for being able to cut the grass well. And the cutting deck can shift slightly to the side to do the edges. We can actually see it there, the system, and I'd say it will leave about, let's say, maybe 10 centimeters of uncut grass. I'm still testing this one. It will depend on whether you rub more or less against the border. Protection on the sides in red. It also very much surprised me on slopes, and the finish is very clean, I think. So that'll be link number 11 in the description. And the last one of this selection is the Dreame. We'll go fast because they're pretty much the same. The two, what's going to change on the Dreame? Already, we'll have a small light. We also find a bumper at the front, camera, and after the same LiDAR sensor. What will change mainly is the cutting deck. We'll have 3 blades per cutting deck. It doesn't make a big difference in the end if you have it mow regularly, I think. access to the battery, same. And what will also change? This one can climb obstacles, I believe, of 5.5 centimeters, compared to the MOVA, which did 6 centimeters. After that, it's pretty much the same system. The two. What will change are the rear cleats. There you go. After that, I don't think it plays a huge role. For me, they're almost the same. The two. Almost the same design. We'll see after, depending on the price. And we'll finish on the last robot that I don't have yet, and that I hope to test soon. It's the Navimow X4. This robot, I was able to see it at CES in Las Vegas, and it will be able to reach up to 5,000 square meters. We have two models, and it will position itself with an RTK antenna, or rather with a GNSS antenna. Since I haven't tested it, I couldn't tell you if it's a good robot, but in any case, it's Segway, and I'm very happy with it. It can climb obstacles of 7 centimeters maximum, 84% slope max, meaning 40 degrees. That's quite impressive. And above all, it certainly won't damage the lawn because the front wheels actually steer, which will allow it to turn on the spot. The cutting width will be 43 centimeters. So I'll put the link, that'll be link number 12 or 13, in the description, the last link. We also have other models that I wasn't able to test. Tell me which robot you're thinking of choosing. If you have questions, I'll answer you as quickly as possible. If you'd like to support my video, don't hesitate to go through the link in the description. It's the same price for you, and for me, it allows me to test new robots and share my experience with you on robot mowers. On some models, you have possible discounts. I'll see you next time. Have an excellent day. All right, ciao ciao.